long history of coming to AIDSWatch. How many people have been to, how many people is this your first AIDSWatch?
The last couple of years have been amazing to see how many positive folks are coming out to say, no, we are a community, we're not just patients, we're advocates, not just clients. We need to help run the organizations, not just be served by them.
The most important thing is for you to share your story with members on the Hill, to put a face on this epidemic, and to remind our members of Congress why it is so important for them to focus on justice and fairness and compassion.
And we are proud to be a network member of the U.S. People Living with HIV Caucus, which is a network of networks of people living with HIV and individuals living with HIV, fighting to bring the voices of folks impacted by the epidemic to the places where decisions are made, and to make sure that people living with HIV and constituencies most impacted by the epidemic are part of framing the solutions and making decisions.
You are continuing, or for those of you who are here for the first time, joining in a process that is as old as the Republic itself, of coming to the nation's capital to raise your concerns to your elected members of Congress, to express your gratitude for things that you think they're doing well. That's very important. And to be fully engaged in the process.
He is the managing director of the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, and we are so grateful to the foundation. It was their getting involved last year and knowing the fit in terms of Ms. Taylor's legacy that has helped grow this to the largest event ever. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Joe Goldman.
We are so happy to sponsor this event. This feels so right to us. As most of you know, Elizabeth Taylor was not a celebrity who just walked the red carpet to show her support for HIV and AIDS. She rolled up her sleeves and made waves and put her own career at risk at the beginning because she believed in this. And advocacy was an important tentpole of her work.
To be equitable, we must ensure universal access to treatment and care. To protect our future, we must support prevention programs, above all, for the young.
And we have an ambassador program, which are friends and family and people of note who are involved in HIV publicly, who are part of us. And today, to carry on that torch, we have 6 of her grandchildren. I'm going to ask you each to stand. Layla, Wiley, Eliza Carson, Reese Kitty, Hunter Wiley. And I'm really excited to say we have the 3rd generation joining us, her great-grandson, Tim Wiley.
You know, I was like, it seems legit, and so we stopped using condoms. About 6 months later, I was like, we probably shouldn't have done that. We probably should have gotten tested before we stopped using protection. And I dragged him in with me to get tested at Planned Parenthood. And on that day in October of 2010, we both tested positive for HIV.
How can I tell anyone I love somebody, a man, with HIV? We were closeted, deep in the closet, lost and weak from the crippling pressure and oppressive depths we let ourselves call home. We were afraid. He told me that nobody could love him. But look, you're not facing this alone.
All of these issues have been bipartisan, but you know what? It's been because of you. It's been because of your activism and your commitment and your coming to Washington, D.C., talking to both sides of the aisle, insisting that members of Congress be held accountable. And that's how we're beginning to make some progress. But we can't stop now.
It is an honor to present this award to Senator Lautenberg's daughter Ellen and his granddaughter Molly. My dad was well known as an ally to the HIV community. For people affected by HIV and AIDS, he is best known as author and principal advocate of the Ryan White Comprehensive AIDS Resources Emergency Act, or CARE, of 1990.
The AIDSWatch is the platform where we can make a change, doing change and ask for help, what we need. And my community, transgender living in the South, they need a lot of help and a lot of hope.
We've got to redouble our efforts in the South because through education and targeted, proven programs, we can make a difference. We can't afford to waste the tremendous progress that we've made.
I was at once an activist, so concerned about the struggle for LGBT civil rights. But I ran for office because another passion of mine was the idea that everyone in America should have access to high quality, affordable health care. And this was 1986, and all of a sudden I found that the two things that I felt most passionately about had come together in the battle to fight HIV and AIDS.
Thank you to the entire extraordinary steering committee of the U.S. People Living with HIV Caucus. To the great teams at AIDS United and the Treatment Access Expansion Project. I'm deeply grateful to the many incredible people I've had the chance to get to know in this work. Especially my extraordinary current and former colleagues in the National Working Positive Coalition.
I'm not special. What each and every one of you do every day is special. Thank you for advocating for me and people living with HIV just like me across the country. Thank you again for being here, and I'm going to take everything and all this wonderful energy with me back home. Thank you so much.